to, I believe, Junior State of America. When I went to Junior State of America, they said, there's this one kid who said, it's not fun to be conservative. That's what he said. That's why he's not.
Yeah, it associates
like,
you with like old grandpa bigot, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that's.
No, and then they wouldn't think of two Latinos, so you know.
No, yeah, I mean,
they wouldn't do that.
You know, just so you guys get to know me, I'm Tara, and I'm 22, and I used to be super liberal, like I attended the biggest women's march on the West Coast, like all that stuff, and then I walked away from my abortion, so everything flipped. Not overnight though, definitely rough pregnancy, rough. You know, I was 18 when I had my daughter, so, but here I am, and I'm just trying to, you know, one of my goals is just to try and share the good news with people, you know, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Different value set, definitely. But anyway.
Yeah, and then I'm Ellie, as those of you who probably see me on social media, you see me quite often doing a lot of the reporting, but hopefully Tara can you know, do some more in there, yeah.
Behind the camera. So.
You know, she does a lot of work behind the camera, but I do a lot of the interviewing, but yeah, so hopefully, I think we can now jump into our podcast. So maybe we
could you guys want to introduce yourself?
Both introduce yourselves. Take as much time as you need to introduce yourselves. Yeah.
Well, my name is Kim. This is my partner, Amanda, of 23 years. We're gays against this transgender movement. That's one of the main reasons we came here today. It's appalling.
Yeah.
And that's about it. I'm just here to go wherever the conversation leads us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any?
That's wonderful. Yeah.
No, she introduced me already. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. But just so I'm very open with how how I believe things are. I don't agree with, like, let's say your lifestyle, but I want our audience to know that we still can have perfectly normal conversations because we do agree on so many different things. Our values align. And, you know, I want our audience to see that. I know today so much of, like, my generation, it's so divided because people can't, you know, they see somebody and they call them like homophobic, or they call them like a bigot or this or that, and everybody's labeled these labels, right?
Absolutely.
And it's kind of scary to say that I'm a conservative because sometimes I don't want to say that to my friends because then they're going to be like, well, I don't want to talk to you anymore because you're obviously a racist,
We're
right?
judgmental, yeah.
Right.
I mean,
and it's
one of the most shocking things at this recent protest, not even like 10 miles from here, was that a lot of the people pushing this agenda in the schools would not even tell us their opinion. They were making eye contact with each other to make sure that we didn't judge them or something. They would not talk to us. And I think that was very shocking for me. I was like, wow, we're to that point now? Really?
So I'm going back to something you said. So when people ask me, because I have biological kids and I've been with a man before, I don't want to be labeled as lesbian, gay. I just want to be Amanda, a human being. And I fell in love with my wife 23 years ago. So I'm like, why do I have to be labeled? Why? My mother gave me a name and I want to just be Amanda because, you know, that's who I am.
Right.
I don't like the labels. And, you know, a lot of them are like, oh, then you're confused. No, I know who I am. So, you know, going back to what you were saying, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Totally, but thank you so much for being on here, and I'm excited to have a conversation with both of you.
Yes, absolutely.
But kind of just jumping in, why did you kind of get involved or just wanted or were interested in trying to fight against, let's say, what's happening right now with the whole entire agenda?
Well, for me, I've been in this fight for many, many years since I was your age. Since I was a youth, I saw a lot of these different agendas starting to happen, just starting to rise up. And then I've watched them progress through the years to where now it's appalling.
Yeah.
To me, there's no words for it. The separatism, the race against race, color against color. Now it's our sexuality against, you know, the schools. Like the schools should not be involved in any type of sexual anything, not even sexual education, any of this stuff. This is a parent's role. I don't want, you know, I have no problem with if somebody wants to be a going drag, that's their business. but I don't want drag shows in front of my kids at school. I want them to learn math, and now they want to push this agenda on kindergartners. I want them to learn the ABCs, right? Yeah. We have grandkids now, and I want them to go learn so they have a chance at becoming who they want to be in life.
Yeah.
What kind of career goal is that going to set you later in life because they have drag shows or they're reading you books or, twerking in a class?
It's like they're focused all on the wrong
It's sexual.
thing.
It's It's
Instead
a
of
perversion
education.
of gays.
Yeah. Interesting.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's an interesting take on it.
Well, we fought all these years to get some rights, and now they're making us just look like ridiculous and perverted and, sexualizing children. Like, okay, you've crossed the line now.
Yeah, absolutely. They did something, I think, very similar, just to digress for a second, to the women's movement. It was like, we want right to vote, credit card, stuff like that. But it's like nowadays it's like, oh, you have to be a mom, work 40 hours a week, and like, all this crazy stuff. And it's just like, it's like, geez, I almost prefer... there's like a middle ground, it doesn't have to be women can do everything by themselves, it should be more like we can do this as a community, but it's like it went too far. It's just weird.
Way too far.
You know what I mean?
It's like everything becomes an agenda anymore. Mm-hmm. And you can't have an opinion. I used to love debating in school. I loved debates. And you can't have them now because if you have your opinion and you're voicing it, like my aunt says, oh, now you're a racist or you're homophobic or you're whatever kind of label. It's easier for people when they get uncomfortable to throw a label on you.
Yeah.
Right.
And we've been taught that. The ones that couldn't see straight enough to know they've been pushing this agenda for years in the schools, and they've slowly taken out first the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
And now you can't even talk about God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the main... the agenda here. They're trying to remove God from everything.
Yeah.
From the family unit, from the schools, from our churches. The first thing they tried to shut down was churches when this COVID drama happened.
It's crazy.
I mean, and there was other functions where there was thousands of people and that was okay, but churches, no.
No.
Yeah.
You've got to shut those down.
Yeah. Did your church shut down?
Well, we did for like 2 months and then reopened. Actually,
really? So it was against it?
So, yeah. It was pretty interesting. We actually ended up winning a lawsuit against Gavin Newsom, I believe. So, yeah. So
Somebody won against him?
yeah, I believe that we did. The church kind of like, we had some really good like
Fantastic.
people
That's
helping
amazing.
us, some really good lawyers who, I don't know if I'm allowed to say their names, but they were really good at just helping the church like fight back.
Yeah.
And we saw a lot of successes in that, and that was pretty good.
Let's just say my church didn't get caught.
They didn't get caught.
No, they
just
didn't.
kind of like
there's
slipped
that.
That's good.
Yeah,
I
'cause
mean, it feels like they're going to start burning the Bibles again. Like we're going back into the ancient times.
No,
Like,
well, there's so... Okay, like, look at Lil Nas X. I bring him up a lot because I'm just like, okay, like, I can't tell if what you were doing was just a joke or something, but now you're just doing it. Like, you're just, like, literally, like, doing what Satan says to do, like, in the Bible.
well, they want to put classes in school now where you can learn Satanism. No more Pledge of Allegiance.
Really?
But let's learn about Satan in California.
here in California.
Look it up.
Wow, you know what, though? I'm not... You know what I'm always thinking with Disney and all of this stuff? It's like,
Oh, great.
they'll...
That's a rabbit hole.
It can be.
That's a deep, dark rabbit hole.
Okay, go ahead. See what you got to say.
Well, not speaking of Disneyland. But anyway, no, but so what basically though is they'll touch on like all these different religions, all these different ideologies except Christianity. Like, can you imagine the kind of Disney movie they could make if they just told like Christ's story? Like, it would probably be a very powerful movie. Like, they have those resources, but they're not going to do that. And
Yeah,
it's
because
like,
they're trying to brainwash our kids.
yeah, and it's almost like, it's just, I don't know. For me, it's just like, it tells me more that the Bible is the truth, because it's like, this is the one subject that you guys will avoid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And what trips me out, nobody's questioning a lot of these things. Like, people are not
Yeah.
waking up. Like, I mean, a lot of people have woken up, but, you know, sometimes
not
you have
enough.
conversation with somebody and you don't see eye to eye. For me, I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, I'm not going to
Yeah.
have a confrontation with them. That's their belief, and I understand. My best friend, she voted for somebody I didn't vote for.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not going to love you any different.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when something in her life happened, I said, oh, well, who'd you vote for? But I'm joking with her. And she's, oh, but that's, you know, because I'm not going to let them separate the people that I love
Right.
Absolutely.
through, you know, okay,
Yeah.
who did you vote? You know, it's like,
That's their
Yeah.
agenda.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they did. I know a lot of people got like divided, especially like I know even I can probably say from even my family, there is a lot of division whether in like who you voted for, especially during like 2016, right?
Yes.
I just remember the amount of like not even debates, more like arguments now we're getting into. And it there's like a lot of like stuff like that, but you know, and my family's probably watching, but I love my family. They're great, right? And you know, we can move
What's
past
love
that
got
now.
to do with it, though? Really?
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
That's true. I feel like I have a loving approach. Like, I don't hate anybody. Like, I don't, you know, I mean, I don't, like that one lady said, I don't phobe anybody. Like,
Oh, that's right.
in my own-
We did
That's
have on our last week's podcast we had the lady who said we don't
Yeah.
phobe anyone.
Yeah, we had these Armenian mothers talking about their perspective on it because, you know, again, like these, you know, Armenia is a very culturally Christian nation, but she was bringing up too that, well, it shouldn't be seen as that. It's an American issue, you know? But, like I was saying, it did start a dialogue about Armenians. It's like, and I've known about Armenians for so long because I live in Glendale, you know? But,
Right.
but it's
It's
interesting.
a human thing.
Yeah.
Well,
Because I would say it's a Hispanic thing too, but a lot of my family is Hispanic and, you know, super liberal, like when it comes down
That's
to
true.
it. So
Yeah.
it's like, but anyway,
I don't know. When they had the walkaway movement, every race was walking away.
yeah.
When they started realizing the agenda of the Democrat Party, and it's not even about that there are or aren't Democrats. What they are is people that got put in a position of power and use
Yeah.
politics for their agenda, and we're living it.
Ooh,
We're living the outcome of their agenda,
yeah.
and they've been getting away with it at every turn.
well, they've been getting away with it for so many years. So
Yeah.
if you're going to get away with something, you're going to continue that behavior.
Yeah.
And so when
push it.
somebody comes in and is going to expose them, they're going to try to get rid of that person.
Yeah.
And they do.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not a secret. They kill people all the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, yeah.
they just
I think,
do. If you look through history,
Yeah.
when anybody gets close to, you know, what's going on, they just disappear or they commit suicide, which
Yeah.
they didn't. Or
Yeah. Well,
like you look at different musicians who were
Yeah.
singing of the truth,
Yeah.
and then they end up
yeah, like John
dead.
Lennon. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
John Lennon,
exactly. Yes.
Tupac, a lot of these
Yes,
people.
I've heard that about Tupac too. Yeah, and-
Michael Jackson, his tour was
Yeah.
going to be about these agendas.
And it's logical why it would happen too. You know what I mean? Because it's like, to people, like, for someone like me, it's like I can't even imagine being rich and famous. That I can't even comprehend what that means. But I
Right.
try to follow God. But think about it when, like, someone who's very rich and famous does not have any will to know God, which means no North Star. And then it's like, you have this person, and it's like, who's their God? When people do that to them, like worship them, it makes sense that their fantasies get pushed, you know, because I've been at some elite parties, and I've known people who were in elite parties in the 2000s, and they have said, like, yeah, these people push it. It would make the logical, you know, conclusion of that is people were dying. People thought it was okay to play God and kill each other. Like, people,
Right.
they already had broken that boundary in their head that I am a God, you know?
Well, the saddest part of that is who follows the music.
All our kids.
A lot of
Yeah.
youth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're getting all these. They're getting all this really. What was that? Travis Scott.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yes, I
You
saw that.
saw,
Yes.
No, wait.
You can't get
the
more
concert.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Yes.
thing with the people being
Yes.
trampled.
Can't get more satanic than that.
That was crazy.
They're entering into like hell, literally.
Yeah.
And he goes into a trance, and you know, it's the CIA has been working on this type of stuff for years. Sorry, but they
Yeah.
have. There's
Yeah.
proof of the Mockingbird media and the There's certain tones
Yeah.
and frequencies that will
Oh yeah.
that can hypnotize you
Yeah.
or make you do really strange things,
Yeah.
bizarre things, and not to bring up the whole shots agenda,
Yeah.
but
It's
there were some
it's true,
things
though, yeah.
inside of the vaccines, not all of them, but some of them that can react to those frequencies, and all of a sudden kids were getting heart attacks and just dropping, boom, 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 boom.
Well, a lot of people are getting sick, and a lot of the times I'm seeing that they got vaccinated.
Yeah.
And so they have a lot of the same symptoms. But I tell Kim, why isn't anybody questioning it? So many people are dying out there. And it's like, when it
600
first started,
million.
you didn't hear about people passing. But then, like a year later, it's like there's like 5 people passing in 1 month. And you know what I mean? And it's like,
We've buried 5 people
Yeah.
already in our family, all
Yeah.
vaccinated.
Oh my
all
goodness,
people that
yeah.
should still be here
Yeah.
on this
Yeah.
planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's just really sad.
Yeah.
And I'm not having an agenda one way or another about vaccinations. To
And
each
that's
it-
yeah, that's
Yeah.
another
his own.
thing. If that's what you feel like, but you know what I mean. We all
This
have.
thing,
No,
this
exactly.
thing wasn't tested,
Yeah.
so they're not gonna poke on me.
Yeah,
You know,
no.
they're sure not gonna touch our kids.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, it's another thing where what is that agenda?
Yeah.
And who got which communities, which ethnic groups got those batches that were no good,
Yeah.
and the others didn't do anything to
Oh my
anybody.
goodness, Yeah. Yeah.
So what
You know.
what's that agenda?
Well, I was actually never super one way or the other on vaccines, but it was like, oh yeah, get your COVID vaccine. Like, I was like, oh, okay, like, I kind of don't, like, it's inconvenient, but
And
whatever.
look at how hard they pushed that thing.
But then they were like, well, we'll give you a free donut.
no,
And then they were like, oh,
yeah.
you want some Carl's Jr. too?
we'll buy
yeah.
you lottery tickets.
Yeah,
you want
right.
a pizza?
And then you're like, okay, fine, I'll go to the doctor and get my vaccine. They're like, no, come to Dodger Stadium right now.
But when have they ever wanted to give you something free? And nothing's for free in the world. So all of a sudden,
Yeah.
they want to start giving it. So I'm like, I'm questioning it.
That's
You know what I
abortion,
mean?
Too. It's
Yeah.
abortion. Why?
Yeah.
Why can California?
Is that me?
I don't
No,
know.
it's probably-
yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well,
This,
Forgive you.
This thing works.
that's a whole nother rabbit hole.
It is.
But
Yeah.
It is.
I will tell you, for really healthy athletes to be dropping like flies like they are, but you don't hear about it,
Yeah.
and they got vaccinated, that's one telltale sign.
Yeah.
You know, all of a sudden these kids that went and got it because they wanted to go to Magic Mountain, or
Yeah.
they didn't need permission.
From their
Absolutely,
parents.
Yeah.
And I saw them lined up at that tent, and I told the security, "Are you freaking kidding me?" And so they couldn't get in unless they got the vaccine. Right there, they were shooting them in the arm, and
Sounds
a
sanitary.
lot of kids now are getting heart attacks. Kids at that age don't
That
get
is
heart
just
attacks.
tragic. I know my
No.
husband got it, and I was just like,
Oh.
I was just like,
No,
but
yeah.
yeah. But you
but
know,
kind of like going to like kind of going back to what they're doing to our kids, right?
Right.
Because a lot of parents are now not having a lot of control
That's true.
of what their kids are
Yeah.
like. There's a bunch of bills that I was going over,
Right.
and I have them on social media. But the bills that I was talking about, they all are just bypassing a lot of the parents, right?
That's what they want to cut us
Now,
out.
Yeah.
I kind of want to know like your take. How do you feel? Because currently, right now, we have LAUSD, right? I'm not sure if you're aware what they passed. They passed a whole entire. I'm not sure what it's called, but they passed something where now you're celebrating LGBTQ, like awareness 1 month, right? Which is June, and then they're having days throughout the year, all year round, to now have the kids do that, like with rallies and like there's coming out day. And I'm not sure how you feel about that. I'm just want to get your thoughts on that.
I think it's sickening,
Mm-hmm.
actually. And I'm gay, and I'm sitting here and telling you.
I believe that it should be all spoken
Don't-
at home with your parents, and
Yeah.
your
Don't
parents
push that
should.
on my kids.
We have a nephew that I think he may be, gay, and I prefer us to bring it out and for him to be comfortable. I don't, because these kids are not really educated, and they're educating each other.
Yeah.
So they need to be educated the right way, and to know if you are gay, it's okay. But
Yeah.
you don't need to celebrate it in school, because that's not what it's all about. You're there to get education.
well, I think one thing that we saw with the feminist movement, because I was a huge raving feminist, but is that, it's that when the transgender argument entered it was like it snuck its way in there, and like now that's feminism. You know what I mean? Like Dylan Mulvaney, like
Give me a break.
yeah, and Bruce Jenner, Woman of the Year. Just this,
God.
it's just like it felt like men came in and like booted women back.
Well, you know what
in the room
really,
again.
you know what really upsets me is when you get these young girls that train their whole friggin' life to try to go for the medal, for the gold, for whatever their thing is they do in that sport or that event. And then all of a sudden the men can just push their way in there and they took the gold this year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, are you kidding me?
Did that
Okay,
actually happen?
That actually happened. And she was heartbroken and
Right.
never wanted to be in sports again. This
Yeah.
is her
Yeah.
life.
Oh my
That's-
goodness.
And
yeah.
you know,
terrible.
the thing is, I might look like anybody's brother, but I can't do the things men can do.
No.
I need men to help me. They're built different. They're made different.
Yeah.
You know, and I just can't stand this pushing
and
this stuff on people.
It is being pushed, and I think that's the biggest, like, from what because we interviewed a lot of people just on site there, and we were getting a lot of responses of, what about the kid who is, like, trans as a child, and then they're going to be rejected by their class, and they're going to be bullied, and they could even possibly, like, kill themselves. Like, that was,
Yes.
that was
Okay.
a lot of what they were giving us.
Okay, but wait a minute. With this new movement going on to try to give them all these pills and change their, you know, whatever, and they don't even know their shoe size yet. Their parents still have to get it, and they're going to be doing all this. You know, 64% of them have committed suicide already. Some as young as 8.
So there's
8 years
suicide either
old.
way, is what you're saying. Like,
Yeah, the suicide has gone up with this new
Interesting.
push on this.
yeah.
So we know for a fact that they used to have to get therapy for about a year to even
Two.
to see 2 years
I
to
did it.
even see if you know that's what they really want and mentally
Yeah.
get prepared for what they're
Yeah.
gonna do. Because a lot of them they did it so young, they regretted it for whatever
So
reason.
are we now saying that kids are like? Is this now going to have a ton of consequences? I mean, you're saying the suicide's going up.
Tons.
So does that mean that children are now getting more hurt because of
Yes.
of that?
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you that in my day and age, you had to go therapy 2 years, like straight up 2 years to be certain, because I wanted a mustache.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that wasn't very practical.
Glad you didn't get one.
I know. No, that's my point. That's my point. Me too. But when I was growing up as a baby, I used to pick fuzz and put it,
Yeah.
you know, like,
Yeah.
and I get the
She
little
still
hairs
does
off
that.
my
No, I'm
dog. But my point is, okay, they would say, well, your hormones are imbalanced. I go, really? Yeah. So they wanted to give me estrogen, but I didn't feel girly. Ever. Since I was little, I didn't feel girly. But does that mean I need to go change my whole identity or how God created me? No. So I went to that counseling and I did all of that and I realized, no, I'm okay with who I am.
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't need to change my voice. I don't need a mustache.
Yeah.
I don't.
You don't.
You don't need any. But I needed that therapy. I was
Yeah.
young and stupid.
Yeah.
I was like 14, and
Oh my goodness, I was 14 when I was in high school, and they were like, well, I just never dated anybody, you know. I just kind of like was like, why are you guys dating? You're just gonna break up like you're like in middle school, and I'm the one that was a young mom anyway. But
That's okay.
but anyway, no, but I remember they called me asexual, and I took it on as an identity. I was like, oh, okay, I'm the A, you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, yeah, I'm the A. I would just say it to people, and then, like, you know, you get a certain, you know, you just get like, oh, yeah, I get you. Like, okay, like you said, the label.
Yes.
Like, okay, I've compartmentalized you in my head now. And it's just like, and I knew that people were thinking that about me, too. It was just like, okay. Like, if it
So
means
you were
leave me alone,
uncomfortable.
like-
Okay, you're uncomfortable. You accept it though, because you know you're like, you don't want. Yeah.
But if you
Yeah.
really look at this, like I took child psychology in college.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you that if you look at this psychologically,
Mhm.
they're going to create a whole new need for different therapies. These kids, now there's going to be a whole new reason to bully somebody, or if they don't want to go to one of those events, they get ousted. They're homophobic now. They're going to get another label, like you got an A label. Now we're going to have a whole new way to separate people, you know, between us and them.
Yeah.
You know, it's just another agenda. And this one hits me close to home because I am gay. We have a stable home. We've raised our children. All of them turned out heterosexual. Had that not been the case, we would have worked with them as parents. you know, in
Well,
whatever way we thought was.
Melly tried it one way.
Yeah, sometimes they get curious growing up, but that doesn't mean they're gay.
And she had a girlfriend for a year. We accepted it.
And now she's
Oh, really?
married
Yeah.
with
And then she
5
just-
kids.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So she just. So how did you guys handle that? Like when you
We
were in it?
accepted her. She lived with us.
We
Her
let her go
girlfriend
through
went
her phase.
with us. She went with the girlfriend. We trusted her. And we said, you know, she kept telling me it's a phase, but I said I'm just going to let her be
Yeah.
because that's who she is right now. And then she ended up getting married.
Yeah.
So,
And with 5 kids. Yeah, that's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see?
Yeah.
So,
Great, beautiful children, and if that wasn't the case, that would be fine too.
Yeah.
But that is what has to happen in the home.
yeah.
Yeah.
You have to guide them through it, and you know, teenagers. If you say no, you're not. Get in your room. You're never going to see that person again. Well, they're going to go right out that window, and they might end up doing
bad.
that phase for an extra year or two.
Yeah. No,
Just to
that's
piss
so-
us off. No, I'm saying.
No, well, they do something. Yeah.
I was that
You know what?
kid.
I'm curious because one of the responses that we had to why this should be taught in schools, LGBTQ like awareness and these things being taught, is because kids might have 2 parents in the household that are like, you know, 2 mommies or 2 daddies, right? That's one of the things that we heard
Normalize, yeah.
several
Wow,
times,
give me
and
a
that they
break.
wanted it to be normalized. So what would your response to that be? Because they were saying that that's a reason that it should be
No,
taught.
that's okay. So we have our son is 25 now, and when this came up, he came home and we discussed it because they're making the handprints or whatever for Daddy, and Daddy had passed away, and we told him, you know, just say your parents.
That's all we had to say.
Simple. Change one word. Just say your parents. You don't have to tell everybody you don't have a dad. You don't. You know, are you comfortable? Are you okay? Because I was his male figure. And then he had his uncles or whatever. He got what he needed. You put him in football. He was great with his team, you know. And he's like as masculine as you can get.
Yeah.
I believe it's a lot of communication with your child.
It is.
Yeah.
So how do we know the people teaching them?
Or teach him what our values.
Yeah. And what
Yeah.
experience do they have? We have the best experience as a gay couple to do this,
Yeah.
you know, or same sex couple. So there were people that we had him in counseling and somebody asked him who he loved more. And she's been raising him since he was a year and a half.
Yeah.
And so by the time he got out of counseling, he was very angry. He says, Mom, I got to talk to you. I said, yes, son. He asked me who I love more. I said, you know, well, who did you say? He says, well, I love you guys both the same because he doesn't know the difference. Because the love is so strong that we've both raised him, that we are his parents and he loves
Yeah.
us both.
Yeah.
And till this day, he loves her, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
She's raised him. And he knows, he knows, everything, but it's just the love is that strong that they don't see,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I liked when one person said, you know, it's like divorce. Like, divorce is something that no one in school ever, like, sits down and goes, like, hey, sometimes this thing happens. And, you know, that hasn't been, like, a class yet. You know what I mean? At least I never.
Or a thing for a whole month.
Why
Yeah.
should it be?
So-
Why should it be? Unless you're in college and studying
Yeah.
family counseling or something. When you're in school, especially the young kids are trying to push this on, they're learning math and English so that they can function in life and find their career path. They're supposed to be learning their career path, not if they want to go, you know, turn into a boy if they're a girl.
Yeah.
Like, not accepting people that they don't understand. They don't even understand themselves yet.
Yeah.
What they're trying to deal with their own family unit.
What I see is the parents need to be educated. So who's going to educate us? That's what, if we're educated to teach our kids certain things, because we're allowing these teachers to educate our kids.
No.
They don't have any degree in educating them in that level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like, you know, we heard one thing that was like, well, that one superintendent of the Glendale Unified, she is the assistant superintendent, Kelly King, I think her name is, and she was saying that, when she gets trans stuff from the students, she keeps it in a file in her place, and she doesn't in her office, I think, and she doesn't share it with the parents, or she'll rank the parents based on how accepting they are.
Wow.
And it's that's why this recent protest happened. I totally get it. You don't do the news. I hate the news too, but I'm I wanted to go to the protest, but it was a fight broke, and it was obviously leading up to that, but
it's not her place. What audacity
and
to do that.
Yeah,
that's like a
mad.
kid that's drawing, they're cutting off people's heads and there's blood everywhere on their drawings, and they're fucking 6. What do you do with that? You're supposed to tuck it away. Oh, I want to see how accepting their parents are. They're a little psychopath.
Yeah.
No, you get to the parents so they can get the child help, or see if maybe it's a different picture than they think it is by looking at it.
Yeah, or what's going on.
So I remember in the schools they used to have counseling and therapy. I mean, it's been, I don't know if you guys know, but
I was in counseling.
okay, but in school,
In school, yeah. I was in school counseling. They used to take me out during art class. It's so upsetting.
Right? Dang them. But if they really wanted to help our kids, this is just my opinion. Why can't they do, kids that want it and need it, and, and they get help like that? You know what I mean? Like divorce, because when you brought up divorce, like
Then
you said.
You sometimes get put in the count. Yeah.
Yeah, their parents are divorced and they relate to each other.
Yeah,
and actually
group.
somebody that's been through
that's so
divorce
true.
and that understands it on both sides and that's open-minded, that could help the kids all the way around.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, like a group therapy. Group therapy is very good because the kids are willingly going,
Yeah.
and
you save some kids.
and they would
Yeah,
send a
that's
little
so
consent form home.
The
Who
consent
wouldn't
form.
consent
Just
to
bring
that?
bring the form
Bring the
back.
damn form.
What's pretty
Bring the
interesting
form
is
back.
Yeah.
I was talking about one of the bills that I did talk about yesterday online was this bill. I can't quite remember the bill right now, but it's AB something, and it's basically bypassing the parents when it comes to mental health. So the child themselves, I think it's at 12 years old, can decide themselves. Now, there's a lot of concerns of whether or not it's obviously a lot more children could have more access to that mental health. That's probably very beneficial for them. But then we also have the parents, the parent side, and just totally bypassing that, because then I'm not sure if once we start doing that, those are little steps that they'll do to take away other things.
No.
So my concern is we raise a 15-year-old and right now she's in a home because of everything going on. She thinks she can move out on her own. She has no job. So the thing is,
I can't find it right now.
with her mental health, if we allow her to be in charge, she'll never take her pills. She'll never, you know what I mean? So she's going to be a lost child because she gets them. I mean, how at the age of 12 years old you make those decisions when you're not even mature enough? So we're going to end up losing her. So they don't like us because she doesn't like us because we're strict. This is what you got to do. You got to go to therapy. You got to do this. You got to do that. So with all this going on and she hears this, she already thinks she can move out already and be on her own. I'm like,
Doesn't
in
take
this
the
day and
good
age,
stuff,
honey,
You don't want to.
you're going to be living in
I
the
know.
streets.
I tried
Like,
to do the same thing. I tried to emancipate myself.
oh,
at,
so you related to her?
Lionel Martinez. No, but I tried to emancipate myself, and you have to take your parents to court and all this stuff, and it was I almost want to, but again, I was 6. I just turned 16. I didn't have that kind of initiative to take my parents to court, so it was all talk in the end.
Well,
and you were 16.
Yeah, I was 16. Yeah,
I have something to say about this. Okay, so this child, we love her dearly. We've had her for almost 7 years.
Oh, yes.
Pushing 7 years now. She's always had issues. She's diagnosed as schizophrenic, and she is, if she's not taking her medication. They had prescribed her wrongly in the beginning, and she was taking something that caused brain damage, liver damage. We took her off and got her properly diagnosed, and once she started taking those medications, she's just like a little angel, unless she doesn't take it.
yeah.
And she'll get on these rants where I don't want to take this all my life, and she throws her hands up and just kicks and screams, and then the next thing we know, she's having a manic episode, War of the Enemies, and so now she wanted to go to this place for youth, and it's co-ed. She's curious about boys. She wanted to check into emancipation. Well, I had her in
And we
homeschool.
supported her.
We did.
We
had
supported her.
I go, you know what? I'm going to turn emancipation into a book report and talk to the teacher and show you what it really takes. Honestly, not your little pipe dream of it. What it really takes, how long it takes, that you have to have a job for a year, that you have to show you can care for yourself. You have to be able to,
Yeah.
you know, care for yourself, you know. And then she started realizing, wow, this is, I go, you know, you watch the Fosters too much and you think you're Callie or something. and she agreed. She would laugh. And now we're laughing about it because she's
Yeah.
there and she feels a little more independent, but she misses us.
Yeah.
And
But she's not independent. See what I mean? Her brain
It
tells
made
her
her realize
she
that
still has
she's
to
not.
depend on them to feed her,
Yeah.
to, you know what I mean, for to have somewhere to live. So I just,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's, I know, I'm having a similar, I had a cousin come live with me recently, and it was like, you know, she kept saying, oh, I'm independent, but she was also kind of victimized by the, you know, they medicating her since she was like 12 or something like
Right,
that.
right.
Xanax, Adderall, all this
Oh my
junk. I
gosh.
think she got brain damage.
It does.
Because she was in the hospital, and it was just like she almost died. It was awful. But we were trying to help her out, but it was just like it was just like, you know,
Hardcore.
you're super dependent on us right now. Like, we can't support you. But we helped her for like 2 months, and, you know, I'm just like always praying for her, like, oh, okay, you know, kind of wake up, you know what I mean? I was forced to wake up because, although not all teen moms wake up, you know what I mean? But I had to hustle all of a sudden at 18, 19,
and because why? Who depends on you?
my baby.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly. I have one memory of I was such a brat looking back, but I was a drug addict, all that stuff. But like I was holding her one night when I was 19, and I was working whole day. I was going to college. I had my grandma's caregiver was helping me take care of her. And one night I was exhausted holding her. She was like 3 weeks old, and it was the middle of the night. She would not stop crying, and I was like putting her down, wouldn't stop crying. So I'm holding her, and the floor like starts coming up to hit me in the face while I'm holding her, because I'm so sleep deprived, right? And that moment was crucial because that woke me up. It was like mother instincts, like bam, and I was just like, oh, nope. Gotta get it together. Like, and it was a moment with myself, and that's kind of what I pray for my cousin, because that's kind of rock bottom, you know?
Yeah.
But that's what it is. It's rock bottom. It's a moment of clarity, and it is God.
Yeah.
God is always speaking to us. I mean, I know some people shut that off, or they don't want, you know, they think they're not cool or something.
It's not
Like,
that we shut it off. There's so much negativity out in the world. I feel like it gets shut off. Because sometimes I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, you know? And, you know, not that I question God, but I'm just like, what am I supposed to learn? What am I supposed to see? And since the pandemic, there was times I wanted to give up.
Yeah.
It's like, what is it? Why? You know, we're
I
all
feel
hurting and pain. And it doesn't matter how old you are or what color you are, you know, it's a lot of people are going through it.
Yeah.
But because I believe in God so deeply that I overcome it. And it doesn't mean like some days I have good days, some, you know, like everyone. But when I'm struggling, I do talk to my God because I feel like that's the only thing that keeps me sane from everything going out in the outer world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. One of my most common prayers I say to myself is just, God, remove my doubt. God, remove my doubt. Just remove it out of my brain. I don't need it. I don't want it. Like,
Thank you, yes.
You know what I mean?
The
Like,
fear. Take the fear away because
Yeah.
I can't be in fear and believe at the same time, you know?
Absolutely, yeah.
But the fear always creeps in.
Yeah.
So I want to, you know, be in faith all the time.
Absolutely, yeah. I always
Yeah.
consider like reading daily scripture. It's like vacuuming my brain, you know.
Yeah.
Get
It's
all
funny.
that
I
crap
think
out.
I think that the main thing that is missing from the home is God.
Yeah.
Teaching our children about God. Like the two little ones we have with us, I said, well, bring something, you know, because they can only be on their tablet.
Yeah.
They've been really good for 1 hour.
Yeah,
So
I-
this
I'm
is
very
the hour, right?
similar, yeah.
What did they bring? we got them for their age group, their little Bibles. That's what they brought.
Aw.
And it makes me so happy. And they pray
On their own?
They pray over on their own.
Okay.
No, no, I didn't drop a love, nothing. And they pray over their food, and
Yeah.
now they pray before they go to bed. They listen to meditation at night, and the
That's
kids are
wonderful,
very
yeah.
grounded.
Yeah, it's such a
But
good foundation.
they
it's such a
need
good
it.
foundation.
If our granddaughter doesn't have meditation, like
can't
our
sleep
niece,
right.
our 15-year-old niece, because she would be so angry, she wouldn't want the meditation, but they slept in the same room. And so my granddaughter's like, she would have a meltdown. I need my meditation. I gotta have it. And we're like, okay. And my niece is like, turn that off, when she's in her. And we're like, no, we're going to turn it on. You guys need it.
Yeah.
She really needs it.
No, that's so good though. Yeah, my daughter, she is so cute. I'll like pray my daughter, who still has that like adorable like 3-year-old voice.
Oh.
She's like, amen.
I'm sorry, but God
Music
is
to my
cool.
ears.
And cool needs to come back to God.
And
Yes,
God is loving.
absolutely, yeah.
So why would we take him out of something that's so loving, out of
of
people's
anything.
lives,
Yeah.
schools, whatever it may be? Why, if it's such a good thing?
Yeah.
We went to our
Absolutely,
grandbaby's
yeah.
graduation, and it's
Oh.
more of a, what do you call it? Charter school.
Okay.
But
I went to
they
that
sang Pledge of Allegiance, and
Yeah.
I was like, wow, we're getting a blast into the past, like
Yeah.
that's how it used to be.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that
that's
school
so
is
cool,
really
yeah.
grounded.
Oh yeah,
Like
charter schools are really
yeah.
interesting. They somehow rely on the state, and there's no like filter, but it's just like they can play by their own rules.
Right.
I went to an amazing charter school, and it was just like very similar.
Yeah.
so many people have pulled their children out of school now
Yes.
because
Yeah.
of all these agendas, and
Yeah.
can you blame them?
Yeah, well,
and
she's
so
homeschooled,
that
yeah.
that affects the household's income now because somebody has to be home with them. You
Yeah.
don't want
Yeah.
a
True.
babysitter raising
And
them.
That's true.
What's pretty interesting is that right, so the state depends on with the children, the schools, they get money for the children, right?
Right.
To be able to just that's how they earn their money for how many children they have there. But the thing is that once you take them out of homeschool, you also have sometimes you're able to tap into the money that would be for your children,
I
for the
learned how to
child,
tap
right?
into
They've
it.
tapped in.
Yeah.
They've tapped into
what
it.
I'm planning
The
on
thing
doing.
is that because the schooling program that I do, the curriculum that I do, has a Bible portion built into the schedule of the curriculum.
Oh wow.
That's
And
amazing.
it talks about I even had a year where the history was pretty interesting. It was like not Bible history, but it was the history of like Christians and just like different denominations and how they separated, and it was just going in so much depth of different things. And I really liked that year of history. That was pretty cool.
It's interesting.
But I do have other
interesting,
history.
yeah.
I do everything else,
Well,
but
no,
like
I mean, isn't the
it
Bible
was-
like the oldest
it
history
was,
book?
It was pretty interesting because
know,
you
It's
also
still
true
the most
history.
read book in the world.
Right, and then what my curriculum was amazing too is that it also went over different religions, and I got to learn so much of different cultures and different things that you wouldn't otherwise like in school because they'll just like brush over Christianity.
Oh,
all
yeah.
this
And I
stuff.
think
You
that's
can
so
talk about-
healthy.
You can talk about everybody,
Yeah,
everything
crusades.
else, just like
They'll
Christianity.
they'll
They'll
talk
talk
about
about
the
the Crusades
for like
for like forever.
weeks.
Yeah, but the point that I was trying to drive at is that because my curriculum has that, we aren't allowed to use that money. We don't get that at all. My parents don't get that.
That doesn't surprise. I told
It-
you
we don't get
it's
that.
a satanic agenda. I
was
keep trying
gonna
to tell you.
say, that sounds like
We
too
don't
good
get
to be
that,
true.
Because
You
they
know-
have the control.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
And you know what? It's crazy because now the parents, they get to decide,
It's-
and
I'm
because
sorry.
it has that,
It's not
can't
gonna
do it.
last. It's not gonna last if it keeps this up. Like public
Yeah.
school is not gonna last. It's gonna.
And
be
I think it's
done.
going to fall. And
It's
that's going to be
gonna
the great. People are going
fall.
to
It's
panic,
going
but it's
down.
going to be the best
Yeah.
thing that's ever going to
going
happen,
down.
I
I mean,
think.
school is a recent phenomenon, though. It's like it was started out with farming, right? In the 1900s, it was about
And a
sending your
little
kids
teeny
to
building and
yeah,
let's
yeah.
teach 'em.
And now it's like you guys got so much time on your hands that you have time to like talk about like all this crazy stuff. Like, it's like
So when are they going to teach them? When are they going to teach them? That's what my concern is, the real stuff.
You know what I found out the other day? High schoolers only require legally 3 hours per day. What's the other 5 hours for? Literally.
Right.
Literally. What is the other? You know that school over there? CV High School? Did you know that in 2014, 15, something like that, a child, like a 15-year-old or something, climbed to the top of the building and jumped off during lunch. And there
And
is
nobody
still a
noticed that.
stain. And it was during lunch, and like my
Fun
friend,
of everybody trying to have lunch. Yeah.
yeah. And you know what the school's solution was to it? It was the public school. they put bars around everything. So it's just like,
That was their solution. They
God,
didn't
that
do
was their
anything else?
solution. Yeah, and it's just
Interesting.
it's like this haunting feeling. It's just like
Now,
it's so it's not gonna work for much longer. It's
Well,
it's obvious what they're
there's,
doing. It's a waste of time, you know.
There's many of people that are God-fearing, that believe in the Republic and the original Constitution and stand by it, that are already putting together a whole new school curriculum. They're
Yeah.
going to completely wipe this curriculum out.
That's amazing.
I can't
Yeah.
wait till it gets here, and until then we have to fight this fight.
Yeah.
But it is coming.
Yeah. And it's a
Yeah.
fight of fighting against medication, now gender
All of it.
stuff, you know,
Yeah,
and
let's
entering
keep
the
'em-
home conversations.
Yeah, let's just keep everybody safe.
What do you say?
because
We're
Big
in a
Pharma-
war. We're in a
Spiritual war.
spiritual war.
I say that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's like we're in a spiritual war.
This is the battle of
Yeah.
all battles.
Because it's
We can't lose
yeah.
this one. Like, look at it, really. We can't lose this on any
Yeah.
of the fronts,
Yeah.
on any of these agendas. We cannot lose.
Yeah.
And that, how do we not lose? We have to bring God into it.
And also,
armor
when the
ourselves
truth
up.
comes out, people are
People
gonna wake
freak
up.
out.
Yes. Yes.
People are
The
gonna.
people are gonna wake up.
Okay, hang on. Sorry, we're getting a thing from these. 10 minutes.
10 minutes left. Oh wow!
Okay.
Already?
We're gonna have
That's
a
great.
clock in here
Yeah,
eventually.
eventually. But
My
I know-
understanding is, okay, so they've been filming, and this is a fact. I can't prove it for you, but I know that it's a fact. They're filming some blocks of time that they're going to do an emergency broadcast and start showing a lot of the truth. And this is being prepared. This is being prepared now, and so
Man.
that's coming down
Yeah.
the pike.
Oh, that's
Okay.
so.
And
Yeah.
that's what's going to freak people out
Yeah. I mean,
when they realize that they've been hoodwinked all this time, and they think, how did I not see it?
Yeah.
Because once you hear it and you start studying it, you realize it's been around us all along. We're too busy, or everybody's
yeah.
so preoccupied. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, they make sure that the parents are busy.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're busy all day trying to pay for the house. That's all they do is work all day to keep the house.
Just to go to
you know?
sleep.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
to come back,
Yeah.
go to sleep, and get up and do it again. You
Yeah.
don't get
Exactly.
to enjoy, what you have. It's
Yeah, no, we are super, super distracted. I know one thing that I'm like, isn't this obvious? Is like, the stuff with the abortion stem cells. I'm like,
yeah,
how is that even like? That's so obvious.
it's
like,
very obvious.
it's like the
That's
plan.
the whole
You think they're
point.
tossing it in the garbage?
No, it's a
They
point
stopped
of
doing that
Planned
in the
Parenthood.
70s.
Yeah, that's the point. The woman that started Planned Parenthood and said
Margot.
the lie.
Yeah.
She told the truth
Yes,
finally.
she did
about
it. She's still alive? No way.
But she ended up telling the truth, and that footage came out.
Oh yes, and it worked.
It did.
Worked because what is it like? How much of the isn't it like 19 or something? What's the percentage in America of black people? What is it? Is it like 18% or something? And they're getting like 40% of abortions. So that woman's dream came true, unfortunately. And
It's sad.
And yeah, I mean, I was living in Highland Park, and it's like Planned Parenthood on like it seemed like
Every corner.
it seemed
And-
like
and
I
all-
think there's like 2 or 3 there,
And all they
then,
really want is
yeah.
yeah.
They want the stem cells. It's very valuable. And you can I feel like abortion arguments have become so like okay, just admit you want to no responsibility. You know what I mean? Just admit that that's what it's about. You want your freedom, whatever that means. But anyway, like freedom like motherhood is amazing. Anyway, but
Yes.
it's the thing of they're bullied into it. They're bullied into it by organizations like Planned Parenthood, and I think colleges too, because my college was kind of bullying me, and and then we're seeing the naivety of people just going and getting those abortions, and it's like, well, what about if that child was accidentally born and sold into sex slavery? Like, if you say that to someone who is super pro-abortion, they'll start arguing with you, like, oh, that'd be terrible. But it's like, well, you were willing to kill it. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And all these questions come up of what happens after the procedure is done. you know?
Well, that's just like in a whole nother ball game there.
I know it's a whole other
Yeah.
ballgame.
That's a whole
Yeah.
nother rabbit hole.
It is a rabbit
No.
hole.
Yeah,
I tend to fall down it.
That's why they want you to be able to abort so late, because they don't really abort.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
And that's a whole nother wow.
Creepy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It's so creepy.
we are
and
running
I think
out
that
of
will
time
come
soon,
up.
though, but,
yeah.
I
Next
do want to.
time.
I do want to get some comments, just from both of you. So like, you know, what would you say to, like, if you had a chance to speak to, like, let's say the other side that was, you know, for putting LGBTQ, I guess you could say curriculum into the schools and things like that. What would you say to them? Coming from your guys' experience, because you have a very powerful, like, I guess, how you, since both of you have that experience that you are together, you have a little bit of a say, like a little weight than we would, let's say.
I would like to hear them out to see where they're coming from, because if we don't know,
Well,
then
we
we're
can
just
tell you a snippet of it because
You
we
know
were
what I mean?
interviewing a lot of people.
Yeah.
so
you know,
that would be my
yeah.
thing.
It really
is-
comes to it's like destigmatize families with two mommies, two daddies.
They want to
Introduce-
normalize it.
Yeah, introducing these ideas to them to help them, you know, not feel ashamed for certain things. That's why we're seeing these like numbers go up. So they're really like according to them, their heart is in it for the children. Their heart is in it for the families. They want, you know, that's according to them. So with that information, what would you say from that? Like,
Oh, that's kind of hard. I mean, because that's their belief. They're really in it, and they
and they're passionate about
Yeah.
it. Passionate.
Okay, I got you on this.
Okay.
They can have their passion all they want. Keep it out of the school. Keep it away from my kids. If you want to start some kind of, like, they have all these different movements or places where you can go, just like AA. Hey,
Yeah.
if you have alcoholism problems, go to AA. Where people can just go freely. It doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
They can go and they can talk about their agenda all day
that's
long.
So true, yeah.
But not in the school.
But if they want to
Not in
put,
the school.
so I mean, I think of solutions. So say they want to bring the kids into it. Why don't they bring the parents into it? Like have a seminar or whatever you want to call it, and
And they
you
can
know,
choose. The parents can
have
choose
a-
whether they want to go.
and they could
Yeah.
understand each other from both sides.
Yeah.
Because we have to understand each other, because we can't change what people believe.
Yeah.
So if
especially, yeah.
we had understanding, like I could sit here and judge them, but I don't know them and I don't know where they're coming
Yeah,
from.
yeah.
But if I could hear them out, then I could be open-minded to see, can we just work together, because we're in it for the kids. We all have the same purpose, you know, is to save our kids, to help our kids.
Yeah.
And why do I believe the way I believe? Why do you believe the way you believe? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't have that, but we need it.
Yeah.
And why do we bring the kids into it when it should be the adults? Like they're trying to get, you know, the kids.
Yeah.
Well, when are we going to be responsible?
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
I
don't know,
just
yeah.
think I just
Yeah.
think different.
Yeah.
You know.
Although I do like the AA idea too. It is we need more like
build it, and they will come over there. Like
yeah.
it's just like they have the gay lesbian center. And
Yeah.
if people have certain needs. Well, they go over there.
Yeah, if there's pain, if there's, you know, shame or something that they're carrying, I think it should be a personal responsibility,
It's
you
not-
know?
it's
It
not
doesn't
for
have to
the
be a
s- it's not for the
preventative
school. It's not
operation.
But when they're
school.
children, they need the parents' help
parents.
Yeah.
to take them to
You
where
know.
they need to go.
You know, I've heard about, and I don't know if this is true because I never saw this at my school, but them teaching about it's so weird, masturbation.
Yes, in kindergarten.
To prevent abuse. But
Give
it's
me a
like,
break.
aren't you the one breaking the line of innocence there?
Yep.
Yeah, because then you're gonna wake up something in them that's not time for
That's-
it to wake up.
Yeah.
Hello,
And it's like-
you don't sexualize a child. You
Yeah.
don't
It's
show-
preventative.
it-
It's what
No,
it's what they're
prevents
saying.
what? No.
Preventative.
Because
yeah.
they start thinking of it, and God doesn't
No.
intend them to think about
This
it.
is for
You
their
know.
pedophilia agenda.
It does seem like that to me. It's
It is.
very suspicious, and
No.
the motives seem
Yeah.
all whacked out.
I'm looking at the time because I don't know.
But
how much I-
okay,
Okay, 3 minutes.
oh,
yeah.
okay,
I got
So-
one last
Okay.
thing for you.
Yes. Last comments.
You know their big saying, their big slogan: "My body, my choice. Our children, our choice."
Oh.
Period. Those are
Yeah.
our babies that came
That's a
out of
big
her
period.
womb.
Yeah.
We make our
My
decisions with our
babies too. I
children.
feel that. Yes.
So it's kind of
I
like I
remember
could
that.
go into your life telling you what to do to with your kids. I don't think you're gonna like that very much.
Mama, I'm gonna go mama bear.
Yes, you don't mess with the mamas.
You don't mess with that mama bear.
Yeah. And
But yeah, it's
kind
fun.
of like just segueing into like something, we're now closing off our podcast for this evening, but we do have something. It's a prayer procession at the Dodger Stadium that's happening. It's going to be at Lot 13 on Friday the 16th. So the starting time is at 3 p.m. I believe, and it's to be able to have Christians of all denominations come and stand for what they believe in, and to stand up for their children. And we're having that this Friday,
amazing.
so we're
Friday
gonna be
afternoon.
yes,
Okay.
we're gonna be there. I know I'm definitely gonna be there. I believe I have a chance to speak as well, but I'll be interviewing a lot of people there. Because we all want to save the children, right?
Who else is it?
Absolutely.
Is it all? Who's it organized?
Different organizations are there.
So they're all coming
Several
together.
different-
And
yeah, we're all coming together.
How
and
late
standing.
is it till?
I believe it's till. Well, I know part of it's till 6:30, but I don't know. I don't know when
Dodger
it ends.
Stadium, though,
I don't
might
know
be
when it
packed.
ends. But yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be crazy, but
It's gonna be awesome.
yeah, it's gonna be great and a great
Uber,
time
I
to
guess.
be able to stand and be able to also. I know that they're gonna have some worship time too as well, but also
Oh, that's fun,
praying
yeah.
together and
I
being
like
able
that,
to do
yeah.
that.
That's gonna
So
be awesome.
but-
part of it
Wonderful.
Part of it starts at 6:30, so then it'll continue from
Well,
there.
it starts at like a 3.
Oh,
At
okay.
3, but then there's
Yeah.
a section that
Yeah.
starts at 6:30.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. So
We're
there's
finding out
different
for those
sections.
that are
Yeah.
still at work and getting
Yeah,
off
yeah.
of work. If
Yeah,
they
there's
have
a part of
chance.
it, yeah.
That'd be good. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
you-
good. That's good to
So
get
are
out
you
there.
following them now, or I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely. They stand for everything I believe
Yeah,
in.
I'm just wondering. I'll check it out.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
That's great
No,
because
yeah.
we all need to stand together and definitely do all this.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
These conversations got broken off somewhere along the way. So we're just trying to restore them, and I try to speak with a loving heart, and I just appreciate, all the input you guys gave.
Yes,
You guys
so-
offered perspective, you guys offered insight, and that's valuable. I mean, this is a lot of what's happening right now, and the escalation is an information war.
1 minute.
So we
Okay.
have 1 minute. So you
well,
want to do
you know what? Thank you so much for being here. We definitely enjoyed having a conversation with both of you and having you on here and all your perspective and opinions. And I'm hoping that our audience at home, wherever you're watching, I hope you found this very insightful. And we're hopefully going to see you back on Friday, and we'll see what happens. But thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
for having
And do
us.
you want to do quick social media shout out?
Oh yeah, 180.shift and then 180 shift on all the ones. Yeah.
So okay, and then 180movement.org.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So we can probably.
I don't know when it's
I don't
gonna
know.
end.
We could still be live right now. Just 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Let's
Oh
take
my
it all
goodness.
up. 30 seconds
Okay,
is 30,
30
seconds.
Let's see.
Okay, so it all started when my child had not.
No, you know what? Another good resource for everyone who is on Facebook. It's Tara and Ellie. So
Yes,
with
it
an N.
is.
So
It is Tara.
just
Tara
yeah.
and Ellie,
Yeah, for those who are on there.
And yeah, I mean, just don't hesitate to join the conversation, even
Yeah.
if it's in the comments. We love it. We love it when you get you guys talking. And we're going out in like
Well,
5
thank
seconds.
you. Bye bye.
All right, bye.
See you next week.
They're cutting us off.
I'm just like, oh
gotta
my
get
goodness.
that-
We need to get a timer
timer.
and start it at the exact same time.
Right, it's right there.